Sony just announced a 24 to 50 millimeter f2.8 G lens, and it's in a heavily saturated market. So why did Sony even attempt to create this lens? Well, let's list what's on the market itself right now. There is the Sigma 24 to 70 millimeter f2.8. There's the Sony 24 to 70 millimeter f2.8 GM2. There's the Sony 24 to 105 f4. There's the Tamron 28 to 75 millimeter f2.8 G2. Sigma 28 to 70 millimeter f2.8. Sony 20 to 70 millimeter f4, and Tamron 20 to 40 millimeter f2.8. Wow, that is a lot of lenses in that space. However, if you remove all of the larger, heavier versions, you're left with 3 of them that are around the same range in size, because this is meant for a smaller camera like the A7C. It's meant for the ZVE1, that type of camera. And so we're left with 3. The Tamron 20 to 40, Sigma 20 to 75, and the Sony 20 to 70. And off the bat, the 20 to 70 is not f2.8, so that might roll it out for some folks. So that's maybe one of the reasons why Sony created that lens. The 28 to 75, well, this is also a 400 gram-ish type of lens. It's 67 millimeters like the 24 to 50. However, it starts at 28. 28 might not be wide enough for you. And going back to the older days, 28 wasn't wide enough for a lot of people, and people just like 24 to 70s. So this one is out of the picture. However, this Tamron is far wider than the 24 to 50. It's also f2.8, and it weighs even almost 100 grams less. So this is an extremely appealing lens. However, it's a Tamron, and I could be a little bit delusional, but I think people like to stay with their OEM lenses more than they do with third-party lenses. And so this lens, even though I've recommended it on this channel, it's not that popular. Let's go over what is popular. All right, let's check this out. We have E-mount full frame lenses, full frame zoom lenses. Okay, let's sort by bestsellers. And what do we have here? Sigma 24 to 70 f2.8 art lens, Sony 24 to 70 GM2, Sigma 70 to 200 f2.8, Sony f2.8, Sony GM2 kit, Sony 1635 2.8, 200 to 600, 270 to 200 f2.8, the Tamron 28 to 75 f2.8. So there's a common theme around here. f2.8 lenses are extremely popular. 28 to 70 f2.8, 28 to, so here's a variable aperture zoom that's made it. And what do we have here? A new release, the 24 to 50. Okay, I'll pre-order that. Might as well, right? 70 to 180, 14 to 24. We're still at 2.8, and this is faster than 2.8. But where is the 20 to 70? Where is the 20 to 40? I mean, these lenses are hyped on this channel. Am I the only one? Is this channel just missing the mark? Even the 24 to 105 shows up. Okay, it's a 16 to 35. And where is it? Here we are. Finally, towards the bottom of the first page of scrolling is the 20 to 70 f4G lens. So, you know, I may be overestimating how good it is, or maybe people just haven't noticed. So moving on to the next page, where is the Tamron 20 to 40 f2.8? Another fantastic lens. Maybe people don't know about it, but the 17 to 28 is still a better seller. 16 to 35, and these are, oh, here it is, the Tamron 20 to 40 millimeter f2.8. It's well on the second page, third of the way down. And so here are the other ones. These are just older lenses, and they still sell these older lenses apparently. Okay, so you can see that it is just not that popular of a lens. And does it corroborate with Amazon? And I think so, because on Amazon you can see that the Sigma is the most popular, followed by the Sony 24 to 70 G2, and looks like the 20 to 75 G2 is equally as popular. So you can see what Sony is doing here. They are creating a lens that sort of splits the difference between this 20 to 40 and 28 to 75, and it's right in the middle. It starts at 24, ends at 50, so it's not as long as the 28 to 70, however it's wider. It's not as wide as the 20 to 40, however it's longer. When you compare it back to the 20 to 70, let's just say that you can live with f4. This lens is just so fantastic. It goes 4 millimeters wider, which is substantial, and it goes 20 millimeters longer, which is noticeable. So this lens is one of my workhorse lenses, and I use this when I'm filming more seriously, when I'm using gear that I want the most from. Despite it being f4 compared to these 2.8 lenses, I do enjoy the Sony factor when using this lens. And so what is a Sony factor? Well, there is more controls, so you're not left feeling like a second-class citizen. Bruh. There are other features such as the focus breathing compensation that the 24 to 50 will have. There's other features like faster bursts and AF. It's going to be a lot more reliable. The burst on the A9 IIIs, you can get that full 120 frames per second. On top of that, these things, they're more stable. Yes, the image stabilization is going to be more stable, and it's kind of odd to think about it, but this 20 to 40 goes only to 40. And at 40 millimeters, it is less stable than the 20 to 70 at 70 millimeters. So that is quite impressive by Sony, but it's really just the Sony cripple hammer. This lens is fantastic because it's a Sony lens, and the Sony factor does make a difference. You are going with their brand name. They're not holding anything back. They're giving you everything you can ask for. Okay. When it compared to the 20 to 40, wow. I know this is a third-party lens. It's probably not as popular because it's a third-party lens, but the ability to go to 20 instead of 24 is kind of a big deal. I can crop from 40 to 50 and not be terribly upset over it. But going from 24 to 20 is quite a bit. I mean, you can't walk back that far. And that 20 can be a lifesaver in many scenarios. And 20 is ultra wide, so you can make space very fast. The issue with this is that there is no Sony factor. It is a Tamron lens. A lovely Tamron lens. It happens to cost a lot less, and it happens to be even lighter. But the silly thing about this lens, similar to the 24 to 50, is that it has this reverse zooming thing. So at 40 millimeters, it's at the smallest size. At 20 millimeters, it's at its longest. And it's not that bad because this one doesn't extend much. However, the Sony kind of does. Well, aside from that, you can see why this lens is very popular to me, and apparently only me. Bruh. This lens is smaller, it's lighter, it's wider, it's inexpensive. Can't really go wrong with it. But aside from that, Sony is going to sell these like hotcakes. The 24 to 50 is for people more accustomed to conventional lenses. And It could be just that I'm thinking that people actually watch my videos and take the advice on this channel. Apparently they don't, because if they did, they would be looking for the 20-70 or the 20-40. Those are fantastic lenses. These are not going to sell as well as the 24-50. That lens is going to sell very well. It is f2.8. It is a mini GM2. Let's just face it, f2.8 lenses are the sex appeal of all time. People love them. Can't deny that. And I love them. Can't deny it. I mean, I have two f2.8 lenses right in here. How can I say that I don't love them? Of course I love them. But at the same time, I am willing to shoot with f4 if it gives me more range. And this 20-70 actually does give you quite a bit more range. Anyhow, what are your thoughts on this lens? Are you going to pre-order it? Are you going to buy it? Are you going to rent it? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, share. See you in the next one. Take care.